You think it's perfectly normal that Cartman is suddenly a black woman.
You probably don't like that Indiana Jones got replaced by a female either, huh? Probably have a problem with Black Spider-Man, too.
Who's the Disney character you identify with most? Mickey, Nemo, Peter Pan, or Dumbo? Dumbo. That's sad, but yeah, like...
Well. How are the turntables?
And everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
I mean, people thought my whole trajectory was fake, and sometimes I wake up and I think my whole trajectory is fake, but it's just a testament to taking chances.
These big bad feminists now are telling us that's ridiculous. How dare you want to meet a handsome prince and be swept off of your feet and live happily ever after? No, you should want to be the prince. You should want to go out and fight the bad guys with a sword.
You know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story. With a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird. She's not going to be safe with the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love.
Oh my God.
Hollywood just wrote a legal thriller no screenwriter could sell, an actress's $100 million lawsuit against an animated sitcom, a studio's silent panic backstage, and a jury asked to decide where comedy ends and defamation begins. At the center of the storm, Rachel Zegler, Disney's modern Snow White, and the unfiltered creators of South Park. Tonight, we track how a single parody scene snowballed into a verdict watched by every writer's room in town. Hollywood's tension meter was already redlining. Disney's recent remakes, The Little Mermaid, Peter Pan and Wendy, then 2025's Snow White, had critics groaning about message over magic, and box office charts agreed. Sensing soft targets, South Park announced a new event, the DEI Special, promising to skewer diversity buzzwords and legacy brands trying too hard to look progressive. Disney executives, according to insiders, were monitoring with concern. They had reason. The last time Trey Parker and Matt Stone mocked a media giant, it took weeks for the laughter and the shareholder dip to level out.
Event with all your favorite South Park characters.
Dude, school is going to be so awesome today. I had explosive diarrhea all night.
I like big boobs.
Oh, hamburgers.
How does this even make any sense?
It makes perfect sense. I think the problem is you.
Enter Rachel Zegler. 2 years earlier, she was heralded as Spielberg's breakout star in West Side Story. Now, she was the face of a $250 million Snow White gamble. Early interviews charmed audiences, but a handful of viral TikToks changed everything. In one, Zegler called the 1937 prince a stalker. In another, she branded the original plot creepy. Fan pages erupted. Headlines shifted from fresh Disney princess to actor who hates the fairy tale she's selling.
This woman is extraordinarily woke, as everyone is in Hollywood, but she's woke in a way that's quite direct.
When Snow White opened well below projections, armchair analysts pointed at those clips and never stopped. That outrage became the meat of South Park's parody. In the episode, a pastel-toned princess, skin suspiciously porcelain, belts a Broadway-style anthem about empowerment snacks, fires every creative on set, then blames a rival video game movie when the kingdom's treasury collapses. Viewers roared. Within 24 hours, the hashtag SnowWoke trended in 30 countries. But for Rachel Zegler, the laughter sounded like a career alarm. Her agents fielded calls from studios re-evaluating pending offers. Casting leaks suggested at least one streaming thriller quietly replaced her. That's when the actress swung back, filing a $100 million defamation suit in California Superior Court. The complaint argued the parody crossed a legal line, portraying her as vindictive, career-destroying, and personally responsible for Disney's losses.
Excuse me. Your curtain. Please allow me to help.
Help? From you?
I didn't mean to offend. I just thought you should know that
That I should know what? That some privileged white guy thinks his opinion matters? Get over your entitlement. I'm not some damsel in distress waiting for you to ride in on your high horse.
Younger viewers, her lawyers said, couldn't separate cartoon from fact. Her booking calendar proved the damage. Parker and Stone served papers while scripting next season, responded the only way they know. It's a joke. But they paused production. Lawyers warned new material could look retaliatory. The stakes were bigger than 2 egos. If a jury decided satire can carry 9-digit liability, every comedian skewering public figures would feel a chill. Late-night monologues, sketch shows, even meme accounts wondered, could a punchline bankrupt me? Free speech organizations filed friend of the court briefs. Meanwhile, Disney, though never named, watched nervously. Court discovery might unearth internal emails, test screen notes, or early drafts proving the parody eerily accurate. Media coverage became a sport. Team Rachel cited mental health toll and lost income. Team South Park posted side-by-side clips highlighting the episode's absurdity. Talking squirrels, rainbow hors d'oeuvres, arguing no sane viewer confuses it with journalism. TikTok litigators live-streamed statute breakdowns. YouTubers clocked millions dissecting satire versus slander. When the trial opened, the courthouse looked like a premiere. Protest signs read, "Defend cartoon-free speech," opposite banners saying, "Comedy does not equal character assassination." Inside, Zegler's lawyers rolled clips of the parody, freezing frames on her cartoon doppelganger vaporizing studio cash while chanting "Girl Boss Forever." They called talent managers who testified that offers slowed after the broadcast. On cross-examination, Parker admitted they research public interviews for comedic fuel. "We exaggerate. That's the joke." Stone added, "If people take Pastel Castles literally, blame education, not animation." Zegler's own testimony was raw. Panic attacks, brand deals canceled, a Google search page she said reads like a smear campaign. "I respect satire," she told jurors, "but you can't hide a personal attack behind a cartoon crown." Defense attorneys countered with decades of precedent protecting parody from libel claims, unless actual malice can be proven. "Unflattering," they said, "is not unlawful." After 3 days of deliberation, the jury sided with South Park. Verdict: not liable. In language now studied by entertainment lawyers, the foreperson said, "Satire may offend, but under the First Amendment offense is not defamation." Reporters sprinted to file alerts. Twitter, or whatever it's called this quarter, crashed under hot takes. Outside, Zegler thanked supporters, vowed to champion respectful storytelling, and declined further questions. Parker and Stone exited through a side door, quipping only, "Back to work." Fallout was immediate. Streaming chiefs instructed teams to review any satirical scripts lampooning real people, not for censorship, one memo leaked, but for bulletproof fair comment clarity. Talent managers introduced parody vulnerability audits for A-listers. If a client's public persona leans controversial, prep crisis plans before release week. And yes, South Park inevitably adapted the ordeal. An episode titled "Trial by Twitter," featuring enchanted lawyers feeding on outrage clicks. Legal counsel okayed it. Apparently, once you win the case, you can laugh again. Rachel Zegler retreated from franchise projects, accepting a Sundance-bound indie drama. Early festival chatter claims her performance is ferocious, nothing like the Disney glare. If reviews hold, she could script her own redemption arc. A time-honored Hollywood tradition where a bruised reputation finds new strength in stripped-down roles. But the bigger reverberation concerns comedy's perimeter fencing. Where does satire end and sabotage begin? Courts keep answering farther than you think. But each viral controversy invites another challenge. In an age when a meme can tank a brand in 60 seconds, reputations feel fragile, litigation tempting, and public forgiveness unpredictable. So what's next? Will studios bundle defamation insurance with every animated roast? Will celebrities vet jokes in advance, or risk becoming punchline collateral? And as audiences, do we still crave fearless comedy if it occasionally bruises real feelings? Or do we prefer safer laughs that never draw blood? That's the question I leave you with tonight. Drop your take below. Did the jury protect artistic freedom, or should satire face stricter limits when real careers get scorched? While you're there, hit subscribe, because Hollywood's next legal showdown is already brewing, and you'll want the play-by-play as soon as the gavel drops. Until then, remember, in show business, the only thing sharper than a joke is the lawsuit it might trigger. For executives glued to their phones that night, the verdict was less a finish line than a starting pistol. Within 48 hours, half a dozen studios convened emergency content risk roundtables. Zoom calls that pulled in legal, marketing, and mental health consultants. One insider described the mood as equal parts relief and alarm. Relief because the court reaffirmed satire's protective shield. Alarm because everyone realized how thin that shield can feel once a plaintiff with a recognizable face and viral grievance steps forward. PowerPoint decks circulated with color-coded flowcharts. Green jokes, safe lampooning of abstract ideas. Yellow jokes, references to public figures who've embraced controversy. And red jokes, any punchline tied to an actor actively negotiating sequels or merchandising campaigns. Some showrunners scoffed, calling it laughter traffic lights. Others quietly bookmarked the slide. Insurance brokers smelled a new revenue stream. They began pitching satire riders, add-on policies that cover legal fees if a targeted celebrity sues. Premiums, they warned, will spike the moment a writer's room chooses to parody someone who can plausibly quantify lost income. Streaming platforms balked at first, until accounting teams compared a $200,000 policy against the tens of millions South Park spent on defense counsel, expert witnesses, and production delays. By month's end, at least 2 major streamers adopted the writers as standard on original animated projects. Talent agencies, meanwhile, studied Rachel Zegler's dual role as plaintiff and sympathetic interview guest. They concluded that modern brand management now requires a 3-pronged defense: legal strategy, reputational triage, and parasocial outreach. Agents advised up-and-coming clients to keep a digital empathy file, clips of charitable work, heartfelt podcast appearances, even goofy TikToks with pets, ready to deploy if a satirical broadside ever paints them unkindly. The logic? Flood the algorithm with earnest